Bruce would have a hard time. He had to walk upstairs where he worked on the river to his office, and he said it was, by the time he got there, he just couldn't breathe. It was just so hard. And he used to whistle. He could really hit high notes and low notes. He really was a good whistler. And he got to where he couldn't whistle. And I kept saying, you need to go have it checked. Well, he didn't. But it got so bad, he did have to end up going. When they put him in the hospital, they did a lot of tests on him, and they put a camera in the lung area, and the cancer was between the lungs, the lining of the lungs, I believe is what they called it. And they gave us pictures of it, and it was just like blisters all over it, just a lot of them. And that's when we found out that he had mesothelioma, which we had never heard of before. So Greg, my son-in-law, went to the library and got on a computer to see what in the world it was. And we were all very shocked when we found out that when some people have that disease, it's like 30 to 40 years before you know that you have it, and then it's too late for anything. It would just hurt him so bad to ride in the car. And of course, he always rode in the front seat. It was an old car, but it was a Cadillac, so it was a good seat. And he just hurt everywhere. And I made pillows with holes in it and extra pillows for his back, and none of it seemed to help. I guess the last time he came to the table to eat was Thanksgiving of that year, 2005. And he lived just a few days after Thanksgiving. And the good Lord took him. Bruce had already made a decision, and I think possibly had talked to the office at Cameron's. I'm not sure of that, but I think he had. And one night we were sitting, and he said, you know, I think I've got the ball rolling. I said, for what? And he said, well, I think that we're going to have to sue. And I said, well, you know, I don't like that. And he said, well, we have to do things sometimes that we don't like. I would rather for Bruce to be healthy and stay home and not lose him. I'd much rather be as with less than what I have now and have him than to have had to go through everything we went through, because he meant an awful lot to me. He was my friend as well as my husband, so, and I loved him very much. I had only been in court one time before then, I think, and that was to help one of the girls that worked for me. But that was minute compared to what we had to go through. And thank goodness the lawyers that we have, Cameron and Jody, were so kind and really helpful in trying to make me feel at ease over everything that I had to go through. And they would tell me anytime I needed anything I was worried about anything that I might have to do to call them. I don't think I bothered them a whole lot, but I did call them some, I think. But I really appreciate their kindness. And only God gives grace and mercy to people if we just allow it. So, having gone through all that we went through, I really feel like if you can have someone that's one-on-one type law firm instead of a big place, if you can have one they're interested in what's happening to you, they're interested in your case, and they're not out there trying to show the world that I can do better than anybody else, that they really want to help people. And I do think that that's the best, and I think that's the way Cameron is. I really think that he shows interest in individuals and wants to do what is best for them in whatever way he can. And I do really believe that.